How do you know if you can trust the supplements you take? That was a question I got recently, and I thought it was a fantastic question, and so that's why I decided to do this video. So without further ado, let's just jump into 5 things to look for and look out for when you are deciding on whether a dietary supplement is right for you. These are things that I will think about, and consider when I look for dietary supplements myself. So let's just jump right into it and see what we can discover. So the first thing I would say is I'm skeptical of very expensive supplements and very inexpensive supplements. Why expensive supplements? Well, if I see something that's really, really expensive, I start wondering, why is it so expensive? Could it be the money is going to promote research on the product, especially human research on the product? If so, that's good. Or is that really expensive price being used to support all the advertising on that product? It's something I'll consider as well. So very expensive supplements, again, I wonder about them. Hopefully the money is being used to represent and support research on their product, and sometimes that is the case. But again, I want to look at more in depthly when I see something like that. As for inexpensive supplements, I do want them to make money, but when I see like a supplement costing $1 or something like that, I'm wondering, what's the expiration date of that product? I'm also wondering where they're getting their ingredients from and stuff like that. So quality control and things like that are things I'll consider when I see something costing, only a few pennies or something on that magnitude. Number 2, proprietary blends. As a rule, I tend to shy away from products that contain proprietary blends because they don't tell us the actual amounts of each of the ingredient. What is a proprietary blend? Well, it's when you look at the products that you take and take a look at the ingredients, you'll probably notice in some of them maybe, you'll see a bunch of ingredients lumped together with one number next to them. So you might see 10 ingredients and they're all totaled, say, 1,500 milligrams. Well, that doesn't really tell us how much of each of those ingredients makes up that 1,500 milligrams. So when it comes to proprietary blends, I like to see the actual amounts of each ingredient so that, I can go and I can try to find research to support the use of not only that ingredient, but that dosage of ingredient. And that's really important because just because they may have an ingredient doesn't necessarily mean they're using the amount that was used in the research. So proprietary blends kind of block us from finding out how much of the ingredients make up that blend, and that's why I tend to avoid them when possible. Now, if you have proprietary blend in your supplements, remember the rule of thumb: ingredients you see at the top of the list make up most of the proprietary blend, while things at the bottom of the list make up the least of the proprietary blend. And the hope would be that the most important ingredients, the key ingredients, if you will, the active ingredients, would be listed at the top. But again, we don't know that to be sure. So one thing that I'll do when say I'm investigating or reviewing a dietary supplement is when I see a blend, I'll look at those top ingredients, and if I see anything that I think are, say, trendy and fluffy ingredients, that can be a red flag for me. And trendy ingredients are things that we've all probably heard of, and they've been advertised as being wonderful and marvelous, but their research may not be as great as you think. So for instance, things for me that will make a red flag would be things like Garcinia, Cambogia, and green coffee bean and stuff like that. I'll put a link in the description so you can check out the reviews on those ingredients so you can see the actual research on them so you can judge for yourself whether they really work or not. Infomercials. So I'm skeptical of infomercials, and that's because I've been investigating supplements since the 1990s, and I can tell you that there's been some shenanigans going on with a lot of these products over the years, and so I tend to lump them all together. I watch the infomercials. I record them with my DVR and stuff like that, so I do like to watch them to keep up to speed on things. But as a rule, I want to look at the research on the product and not be enticed by the great claims that are made on the infomercial. So again, it doesn't necessarily mean if it's advertised in a 30-minute TV commercial that it's worthless. It just means that I've seen so many shenanigans over the years that I want to do my due diligence and investigate it further. Number 4 is fake news stories. You've seen these, and you may not even be aware of the fact that you've seen them. These are articles that are written like they're a news story, and they may actually appear on websites that look like legitimate news services, like maybe CNN or Fox or something like that. And it purports usually that there's some reporter or some celebrity who tried a supplement, usually a weight loss product or something like that, and they had such amazing results that they went from being a skeptic to a firm believer, and they wrote this great article on how wonderful the product is. Well, if you look closely at the website name, the URL, the HTTP www part, sometimes the website may not be spelled exactly like the actual news website would be. For instance, in the past I've seen Fox News, the website Fox FOX. When you look at it closely, it's F0X, so it's not really a news website. Although it looks just like a news website, they make them look really realistic. So that could be a red flag. Also, if you read the article itself, you'll notice that within the article there are multiple links to the product itself. No legitimate news organization is going to link over and over and over again to some product. And when you do go to that website, you see a big long list of testimonials and videos and how great it is and money back offer and act now. And sometimes there's a clock that's ticking down and all that jazz. No legitimate news organization is going to do that. You're not going to see it at the New York Times, for instance, and CNN is not going to do that and all that jazz. So that's an issue. And then when you try to click away from the website, sometimes you'll even see a pop-up. It'll say, "Are you sure you really want to leave?" That's a bunch of baloney right there. So I'm not going to buy into that sort of thing. And then the other thing I'll look at is when I do look at some of these fake news stories, go find the name of the reporter and then enter that name into the search engine. What you really want to see is a long paper trail list. A lot of reporters have written on a multitude of different topics. I want to see all kinds of stuff they've written. I just don't want to see one or two different articles. Actually, they're usually the same article on the same thing. That's usually a red flag. And then you could also enter their name into, say, Twitter, because all reporters are on Twitter. If you don't see them on Twitter and you don't see a long paper trail of tweets and stuff like that, it's mostly like a fake news story. And so I'd say avoid everything like that. Here, for instance, is one of these such stories. Savannah Guthrie of MSNBC, or Today Show, is leaving to go start her own beauty line, and somebody reached out to her on Twitter and said, "Hey, is this true?" And she said, "Nah, it's a scam. It's fake news." So again, these things are all over the internet. I've been seeing them for years. It's quite possible you have read them as well and thought they were real. Just be cautious of these things. Like I said, do some of those tricks I told you about, and that'll help you avoid getting scammed on things like this. And then number 5, the company address. All legitimate dietary supplement companies will have an address listed on their website. It may be in the contact page, it may be somewhere in the bottom in the terms and conditions, whatever. I would say find that physical address and then enter it into the search engine of your choice, DuckDuckGo, Google, whatever, and then take a look at it. Google in particular will give you an actual street view. They'll show you what the actual address looks like when you look at it. And you can scan around the neighborhood and all that stuff. One thing I'm looking for is I'm looking for a building that has the name of the company on it. And that's a good sign that that's a legitimate, real company. If you see, an empty field or an intersection or something along those lines, then, maybe that's not such a good sign. And then also look at the search results themselves and see who else shares that address. Is it, say, a post office? Is it the FedEx office, or is it Kinko's or something like that? If that's the case, then that's actually obviously not where it's made. You're going to have to do some more investigation to find out where the real physical address is. So consider that. And then also if you do this and you don't see an address listed anywhere on the website, then I would say avoid that product and go find something else, because if you don't know where they're located, that doesn't really engender a lot of trust right there. So again, be careful of that. And then if they have a contact number, you could also enter the contact number into the search engine results, into search engine, and find out who shares that phone number as well. That can also give you some more details on who the company is behind the product as well. So, guys, that's all I got for you. Hopefully this helped you decide what supplements may be right for you. I will leave a couple links in the description so you could learn more. And if you got any questions, just give me a comment and I will answer you myself. Until next time, guys, I'm Joe Cannon. Have yourself a fantastic day.